Now, here's the latest weather on Boomer Radio.
I'm weatherology meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with weather for Omaha, Council Bluffs, and Blair. Clear skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 60. South winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 39. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow. Highs level off around 46. That's Boomer weather, accessible anytime at weatherology.com.
Your home for the Iowa Hawkeyes. 1490 KIBM Omaha, Council Bluffs. 1065 K293CX, Council Bluffs. Boomer Radio.
Welcome back to the second part of our show. Don't touch that dial. This is John Jacobson on this beautiful Saturday afternoon, a Hawkeye afternoon on your home and away voice of the Iowa Hawkeyes, Walnut Media with Boomer Radio, our Trimulcast, 1490 AM, 106.5 FM, the blowtorch of Western Iowa, and live and streaming on myboomerradio.com. Hit that CB link. This is John Jacobson, your host of the award-winning Iowa Broadcast News Association program, sponsored by Matt O'Daniel Honda. Now you've heard it all with engineer Nick Burris at the controls, and we have special report coverage for you this afternoon. Council Bluffs campaign for city council candidates today. Exclusively on Boomer Radio, we have 3 of the candidates for the upcoming November 5 Tuesday election for Council Bluffs City Council. With us today, Deb Bass, Nate Watson, and Sharon White. John Jacobson here with you today, and we are so delighted to have with us Deb Bass, Nate Watson, and Sharon White, 3 of the finalists. There are 6 on the ballot. You may vote for 3, and these are 3 of the finalists for Council Bluffs campaign for City Council. These 3 candidates with us today. Welcome to the program, all 3.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. And let's go to candidate 1, Deb Bass.
Great, thank you. It's great to be here today and have an opportunity to tell our story to your listeners. Many times I'm approached, why are you interested in running for city council? I retired from a successful business career a little over a year ago, and just having lived in Council Bluffs for many years, I felt like it was time for me to return the kindnesses that I had felt from living in Council Bluffs from many neighbors and friends. And so I bring to the table my experience as a business leader. I've started 3 organizations. My experience as a community volunteer. I've served on boards for more than 25 years. And just my lifelong experiences. I always say there has to be something good about gray hair. And with that, I think I can bring a level-headed approach to many of the questions that are raised at the City Council.
Here with Deb Bass. Deb Bass with us live, B-A-S-S, Deb Bass, candidate for Council Bluffs City Council. Election to be held November 5. Continue, Deb.
Thank you, John. Well, I thought carefully about my campaign slogan, working hard for Council Bluffs, and I've built a lifelong reputation of working hard. And people that know me, that have worked with me, alongside me on the boards or in the businesses, they know that an 8-hour day doesn't exist in my life. So I'm really excited to be able to bring that experience to the table to help make the decisions that the council is called upon to make, but also to work with fellow council members, our mayor, the department heads, and the people of Council Bluffs to continue to propel us on this path to a more progressive community that is filled with wonderful things to live, work, and play.
here with Deb Bass, candidate for Council Bluffs City Council. Election will be held November 5. Anything else, Deb? You've got a little bit of time left here in your opening remarks.
Well, I'm excited for us all to be able to talk about the Neighborhood Association grant. Nate, Sharon, and I came together. Again, we are committed to serving the people of Council Bluffs. And through the neighborhood canvassing, I've walked through so many beautiful neighborhoods. And yet they struggle at times to do special things for each of their neighborhoods. So this grant will give them the opportunity to do the murals, the plaques on the houses for our historic neighborhoods. Just those little projects that individuals have a difficult time finding funds to do.
Thank you, Deb Bass, candidate for Council Bluffs City Council in alphabetical order. We continue now. Candidate 2, Nate Watson, incumbent.
Well, thank you, John, and I appreciate you inviting me here today. My name is Councilmember Nate Watson, and I was born and raised in and around Council Bluffs, and I'm very proud to call it my home. I went away to school and got trained in political science and history, and then got my doctorate in law and my postdoctorate in legislative practice, which is really about how to govern in a legislative format. So I really think I bring that unique perspective to the table in local government. I came back to Council Bluffs. One of the main reasons to do so was, along with my mother, I helped raise my niece ever since she was 1.5 years old, and she's 16 now. So you can imagine there are times that I understand the raising of a child and how important that is, and I joke myself that's why my hair is starting to go white.
We're here with Nate Watson, candidate for Council Bluffs City Council, election to be held Tuesday, November 5. Continue, Nate Watson.
Thank you, John. And when I came back, I got a job at a local law firm, mostly working in insurance defense, and I really started to get involved in working and helping different neighborhoods get their start, really finding their voice, because the true heroes of our community are those neighborhood volunteers who every day in and out really just do the lion's share of work in our community. I helped co-found my own neighborhood in the historic center of Council Bluffs called Fairmont Park neighborhood, and founded the association, the Alliance of all the downtown neighborhoods, the historic core of our community, the Downtown Neighborhood Alliance. And then I branched out to several other neighborhoods throughout our community, helping people find their voice. And I think that's a very important thing. In fact, I took a year off from the practice of law to do it full time. I believe in the grassroots volunteers of our community that much. And I just really see the importance of our volunteers and our grassroots people in our community. And that's frankly why I originally ran for council in 2011. And that has been my focus the last 8 years.
We're here with Nate Watson, incumbent, candidate for Council Bluffs City Council, election to be held November 5. Nate, you've got another minute here in your opening remarks.
Well, thank you. I really think during my time, during these nearly last 8 years on the council, I've really worked to improve best practices. For the first time since World War II, I rewrote our rules of civil procedure, along with Council Member Sharon White, completely rewrote in a business-friendly and proactive way our rental inspections law. And what I want to do going forward is to go through all of our other laws for the first time in over 150 years and remove a lot of red tape and things that simply are out of date or aren't in modern English and really ought to be better for people to understand, and to get rid of the things that are no longer necessary. The final thing I want to mention is I'm so glad there's a significant council salary increase starting this upcoming year, $4,800. And Sharon White, Deb Bass, and I have each agreed that if we are separately elected, we will each donate up at least $5,000 per year of council salary towards neighborhood grants. So over the course of a council term, that'd be $60,000 towards that vital work, as Deb indicated, that vital work that they do. And they ought to do that because at the end of the day, public service is about enriching the community, not yourself.
You've been listening to Nate Watson, incumbent, candidate for Council Bluffs City Council elections held here upcoming Tuesday, November 5. Now, candidate 3. Sharon White joins us today in alphabetical order. WH at the end of this triad here of people. Sharon White, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us, John. I'm really happy to be here today. I look forward to talking with people and letting them know how great Council Bluffs is and the things that are happening in our city. We have so much positive momentum in Council Bluffs, and I had chosen to run for another term because I want to be part of that forward momentum and to keep some of these things going. This is my 9th year on the council, which I have an odd number instead of the even 8, because I had been appointed to serve a 1-year vacant term in the beginning. And after serving that term, I realized that so many of the things that I've done, I served on the Planning Commission for 7 years prior to doing that, and that was just great background of understanding how many things come to the council. And that, along with I am an appraiser by day, a residential real estate appraiser, so a lot of what we deal with on the city council has to do with land use and zoning, and so I was really excited to be able to bring some of my skill set to the council. During my term on the council, some of the things I'm most proud of, Councilman Nate Watson brought up the rental inspections. That was a very long process, and it seems to be working really well for us, and we're watching now other communities starting to deal with that issue also.
You are listening right now, this moment, to Sharon White, incumbent candidate for Council Bluffs City Council elections coming up Tuesday, November 5. Please continue, Sharon White.
There's still so many things I would like to see us continue to work on, and one of my big missions is to work on revitalizing our urban core. One of the things that I've learned is that extending infrastructure in our city is so very, very expensive. So when you see the new subdivisions going in and those lot prices are like $80,000, part of that is because running sewer and water and streets is so expensive. And I think that one way that we can provide more housing in our community is to get back into our urban core where the infrastructure already exists and start revitalizing some of those homes that have fallen into disrepair. But it's expensive to do, and we need to find ways to direct some funds back to developers to interest them in going in and rehabbing those homes and neighborhoods.
Listening to Sharon White. She is the incumbent on the Council Bluffs City Council, one of 3 incumbents running, and she will be up for election on Tuesday, November 5. Sharon, we have a little bit of time remaining. Please continue your opening remarks.
Well, I, too, am very interested in these neighborhood grants. I live in the Lincoln Fairview neighborhood, which is a historic neighborhood, and our neighborhood has done so many good works with helping people repair their sidewalks, their stairs. We also, the Neighborhood Association, put together plaques with our what year the homes were built so that when people are out walking their neighborhood, they can learn more about the history of that neighborhood. So being able to take the increase in council pay, which I had actually voted against, it makes me feel better about that increase. I know it's going to a worthy cause in our neighborhoods.
That was Sharon White, candidate for Council Bluffs City Council, election to be held Tuesday, November 5. We will take a pause right here. You are listening to this special report coverage exclusively on KIBM. The I stands for Iowa, KOBM, the O stands for Omaha, on Walnut Media, Boomer Radio. You can listen to us on 106.5 FM, that great signal into Iowa, or the very legendary 1490 AM out of Omaha, or get on your cell phone, get on the web at myboomerradio.com and just click the Council Bluffs link, and you're going to get this tremendous election coverage. We will be back momentarily with round 2 after this message from Matt O'Daniel Honda, our great sponsor.
We treat customers like they would like to be treated. We have award-winning customer service satisfaction scores. We all enjoy our jobs out there, so it helps.
It's awesome. I love the environment. I love everybody that works here. They all have their own individual, unique things that make them them, and we all kind of just come together and help everybody out and make sure it all gets done, take care of our customers.
Absolutely. Our service managers and our service advisors have been here for a long time. They know their customers by first name when they come in.
It's more of a family-oriented type of business. Everybody knows each other. Everybody's really close, kind of a brotherhood back there, which is different coming from a corporate type of store. So,
well, we actually just need to get your car in here and look at it. And I try not to worry what it could be because we don't know what it is until someone looks at it. And about 99% of the time, it's not as bad as you think it is.
I think most of our technicians have been here at least 8 years. That experience matters. You know, they've looked around, they've seen the issues, they know how to correct them quickly. So,
I mean, we do a good job. We fix cars right the first time. We actually just won an award for Fix It Right the first time, ran a 95.6% efficiency rate on fixing cars right the first time. So our customers are satisfied with what we do here. We take care of customers. It's I think people treat you like, when you come in our door, I think they treat you like you're a brother and sister, you know, a family member. You step in here, you don't feel like you're a number, and we've always tried to instill that in our employees.
Oh yeah, a lot of repeat customers, and then they come back for a reason, because they're being treated well.
They can go to o'danielhonda.com and schedule online themselves. They can call us, and our BDC department will take the appointments upstairs, or if they have a more in-depth question and need to talk to a service advisor or to me or Beth, they can ask to talk to us and they'll transfer them straight down to us.
I'm Matt O'Daniel, and I invite you to come in and visit Omaha's home for Honda. O'Daniel Honda at 78th and Dodge.
We continue with this special report on Saturday. Greetings to all of our listeners from eastern Nebraska, but especially western Iowa, with the eyes focused on this very vigorous campaign for Council Bluffs City Council. There are 6 candidates who made the finals in the primary. There's now a runoff, and you may vote for 3 of 6. We have 3 of those 6 here today, and now in reverse alphabetical order, I'll just tell you that we have Nate Watson, incumbent, Sharon White, incumbent, and Deb Bass, challenger here. And we heard some great opening remarks from them in round 1. Now we're going to go to round 2, where each will have 3 minutes to talk about their vision for the future of our metro area of Council Bluffs, this big important election coming up Tuesday, November 5. Folks, as a state legislator, I will just lead off and say we've also got this perduring, ongoing flooding issue. We'll start in reverse alphabetical order today. Candidate Nate Watson, incumbent. Nate Watson.
Thank you, John. The issue of flooding is one that just genuinely tears at my heart. We've had so many people in our state, as well as in eastern Nebraska, who, and indeed throughout both parts of Iowa and Nebraska, who've just been devastated by the flooding, particularly along the Missouri River. There are just several things that I think it's important for people to know. I joined the council in the 2011 election. Of course, I don't have to tell any of the folks listening how bad 2011 was with the flooding. 2019 may very well eclipse it. It's certainly on pace to do so. In the years since the 2011 flood, we have taken our responsibility very seriously. We have spent millions upon millions of dollars to shore up our 28 miles of levee throughout our community. We have significant parts of Council Bluffs that are actually below river level in elevation, and of other parts, particularly towards western and southern Council Bluffs, that even those parts that are above river elevation decline at less than a 1% slope towards the river. And why that's important is it's really hard to drain even in a year that the river isn't so high as it is now.
You are listening at this moment to Nate Watson, incumbent, candidate for Council Bluffs City Council, elections to be held Tuesday, November 5. Please continue, Mr. Watson.
Thank you, John. With regard to flooding this year, because the river is so high, we've had to shut the floodgates. Otherwise, the river would back up into town, particularly towards the south and the west, of course. And so what we have to do is, therefore, literally every drop of water in town has to be pumped up over the levees. We've shored up our levees over the last 8 years. We've shored up our pumps. We put in backup pumps. And indeed, this year, we're leasing additional pumps to continue to remove the water from our community. And I think there are several things that are important to know about this. The first thing is we've had an exceptional year of rain. And unfortunately, we can't stop the rain. One thing, though, that I do think it's important to continue to look at is our priorities on the Missouri River rivershed. I frankly think it's ridiculous that recreation has such a high level of priority on our river. I fully appreciate the business interests up north in the Dakotas along the river, but recreation is not more important than people's lives or property. And so I really think we have to continue those discussions with our federal leaders and our federal representatives because the current balance is just completely off.
Thank you, folks. That was Nate Watson, Council Bluffs City Council candidate, incumbent. And now our next candidate back again for round 2, Sharon White, incumbent on the ballot for Council Bluffs City Council elections.
Thank you, John. It's great to have an opportunity to talk to people about the conditions we've been under since March. This is such a long-term flood, and because people don't see standing water above the ground, they don't realize that we have had an underground flood since March. And I think we have to realize that this is probably going to be a new normal, and we need to start addressing trying to have a bigger effort. I think the city has done everything that we can do, but we need to look to the future. And so some of those things include we're going to have to buy bigger pumps, and we need to be prepared for that. So we're looking into that. I think many of you have heard that we're looking at some new technology in detention areas to start trying to help drain some of that water off. And then there are a few other things that we're looking at, and one of the things I want to do is start trying to find some funding for people that have been hit so hard this year with sewer backups. We need to get some sewer backup gates on their sewer lines so that will keep that from happening. And I'll be bringing forward a resolution to change our building codes so that anything new being built will automatically have to have a sewer cutoff gate.
You're listening right now to the voice of Sharon White, running for Council Bluffs City Council in the hotly contested election coming up on Tuesday, November 5. Back to you, incumbent Sharon White.
Thank you. Hopefully many of you have seen that we may have an opportunity to get some FEMA funds for buyouts. And I have talked to families that have been inundated all summer long, and they had gone through the bad flood in 2011, and they're tired. It's a lot. And so we've got a short time period to show that there's interest in that. So anybody that is interested in a buyout needs to go on the city website and fill out an application that shows the interest.
Sharon White, folks, she is incumbent running for Council Bluffs City Council on the ballot Tuesday, November 5. Thanks for being with us again this round 2. Our final candidate in our round 2, talking about the vision round, as I call it, Deb Bass, challenger, who won in the runoff and is part of the group of 6, 3 of whom will be seated on the council. Deb Bass.
Thank you again, John. Well, I can't add much more to the flood comments that Nate and Sharon have made, other than I want to call out and thank our public works people. They have worked diligently. I've talked to many of them that don't sleep at night, worried about when there's a forecast for more rain, what does this mean? So I really want to thank them. Also want to thank our mayor. I attended a neighborhood association meeting this past week with the mayor, and he answered questions. It was a great turnout, of course. It's a neighborhood that is in stress, and I have to commend our city leaders. They are listening, and they're doing everything they can, looking at alternative solutions. But with that, now I want to turn to what we would like to see for the future.
And again, we're with Deb Bass right now, candidate for Council Bluffs City Council.
Well, I am very excited about the plans that are in place for our First Avenue corridor. This is a connection that will run through our city with what used to be railroad tracks that we're now turning into initially a bike trail with some green space. It will parallel Broadway, just a block off of Broadway, but it will be the mixed-use commercially zoned areas with living facilities, retail business. I think it will be an immediate attraction to the younger generations, and that's what we're working to accomplish in Council Bluffs with all the things that have happened on our West End to make this an attractive place so that young individuals will choose to live, work, and play there.
You just heard from Deb Bass, who is candidate for Council Bluffs City Council. And before we close, folks, and give you each a chance maybe to give a final half minute or minute to plug your candidacies, one thing we're all united in, everybody in Council Bluffs, is the joy of having both Lewis Central and the Trainer Cardinals in the playoffs for football this year. Well,
thank you, John, and I am. Congratulations to both those teams. It's a lot of work, and it's an amazing what those young people are accomplishing. And I think the final thing I'd like to say today is I'm very proud to be from and to live in Council Bluffs. It is a fantastic place with good, hardworking people, and I think it's important in this election for folks, when they're making their decision for whom to vote, to remember that having folks with the right temperament, having folks with the necessary experience, and the people who really will show up and put in the homework and do all of the work necessary to come up with very informed decisions. There'll always be some decisions that we might disagree about, and that's natural. When you have any number of people together, you're going to get different experiences and so forth. But I really think that it's important for people to remember to vote for that experience, for that reasoned judgment, and for someone who really put in the time and effort. I believe I have, and I ask to continue to work for you, and I ask for your vote on Tuesday, November 5th.
Thank you. That was Nate Watson. And now we go to Sharon White for closing comments.
Thank you, John. I really have enjoyed working for the citizens of Council Bluffs, and I'm committed to continue to do that. I have, in my almost 9 years on the council, I've actually only ever missed one meeting. My commitment is deep. I make it a priority to spend the time necessary to research all of the topics and to try to provide what the citizens want. In that vein, I've worked for 8 years trying to get a park out in our newer areas in the east side of Council Bluffs. And I've been very happy to tell people that we finally have a donation of 8.5 acres of land to do that park. So I would very much like to continue working on that and the other things that we're doing in Council Bluffs to make it the very best that it can be. And I would really appreciate everyone's vote on November 5th.
That was Sharon White, candidate for Council Bluffs City Council election. And now with the last word, Deb Bass, candidate for Council Bluffs City Council November 5 election. Deb Bass.
Thank you. Well, I am very excited to look to the future for the city of Council Bluffs, and I would be honored to serve on the council and would appreciate your vote. In preparation for this race, I have been attending the council meetings, the planning commission meetings, meeting with department heads, and you can just see the dedication to all of these individuals to serving Council Bluffs. And there's so many good projects that are in our future that I want to make certain that I can play a role in those, just as Nate and Sharon have done in their years on the council. And so I would appreciate your vote as well. I promise, too, that I will come prepared. I will be ready to make votes. I will do my homework and the research necessary to make good decisions. And I hope you will trust in me to give me a vote on the November 5th election. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've just heard from Deb Bass, Sharon White, Nate Watson, candidates for Council Bluffs City Council. And this reporter here will editorialize as follows. And I'm going to borrow the words of the great TR, Teddy Roosevelt. It is not the critic who counts, not the one who points out how the strong one stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the person who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, who spends themselves in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if they should fail, at least fails while daring greatly, so that their place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Thank you and good luck to you, Deb Bass.
Thank you.
Thank you and good luck to you, Sharon White.
Thank you.
Thank you and good luck to you, Nate Watson.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to Matt O'Daniel, who sponsors this ability to do this great focus on local news in our community. Matt, take it away.
Hi, Matt O'Daniel here, and since you're interested in a used vehicle, I'd like to give you 3 reasons why you can buy your next pre-owned vehicle with confidence from O'Daniel Honda. First, market-based pricing. Everybody wants a great price on a great used car, and with today's technology, you can make a better decision. I want you to know we use that technology as well, conducting extensive market research to ensure that each and every O'Daniel used vehicle is priced competitively in the market. We're confident that our price based on year, make, model, miles, and condition will be among the best in the market. Feel free to make us an offer, but understand that our posted price may be our best price. Second, the O'Daniel Certified Guarantee, exclusive warranty protection to give you a great ownership experience. Our certified vehicles have been through a multi-point inspection conducted by certified technicians. Not every vehicle makes it, so you will be buying the best of the best. And our level of confidence in these certified vehicles is so certain that we guarantee them for life. That's right, as long as you own the vehicle, we cover the major powertrain components. And because we've already covered the expensive parts, you can upgrade to complete coverage for a minimal price. And finally, a legacy of trust. When you buy pre-owned from O'Daniel, you're buying from a family-owned dealership with a history of doing business the right way, now spanning over 60 years. Beginning when my grandfather started in Omaha in 1956. Through all these years, we've maintained the customer experience with a level of integrity that can only be experienced at a local family-owned dealership. I hope you enjoy browsing our inventory and finding the car, truck, van, or SUV that is right for you. Just like my grandfather said, when a vehicle makes a customer happy, it makes them a customer for life.